In this presentation, we're going to be looking at stock and sales. If first of all we go into our stock category, we're going to set up some items. We select the items tab. When you come in here, you'll see there's 3 categories already defined. Now the first 2 are special categories. The first one, our non-sale items, is for items where we'll be purchasing them but we won't be on selling them. Examples of this might be belts, it might be training aids that you're using. You're going to purchase them, but you're not going to actually be selling them to your clients. So even though we need to include them on our purchases or orders with perhaps other things we might be on selling, we don't want them to appear in our sales forms. Services are anything where there is no purchase associated with it. Examples of this will be anything where you're, say, teaching a class, for instance, and you're wanting to record that as a sale. We might be running, say, a seminar where there'll be a one-off cost associated with that people need to pay. So we can set that up as a service that we're going to provide. And then when we record the sale, there's no stock items, so we don't need to create purchase orders and so on. And with services, that's generally 100% profit. Okay. Then we have any other categories under that. There's an example category of uniforms set up. We're going to add another category now. Let's just say we were going to be selling casual clothing. We might just call it casual. Keep the name nice and short. Makes it easy to look at our list and see what's there. Okay, and we can set up as many of those as we like. We'll just leave it at the 2 for now. Now if we select casual under that, we're going to set up some subcategories. Having our categories and subcategories enables us to logically group things to make it easy to A, to find things, and B, gives us some logical reporting. If we had casual clothing, for instance, and we looked at our profit for those items, then we could see that separate from our uniforms, and it would make sense to know how much money we're making from our casual clothing as opposed to how much money we're making from our uniforms. Then within that casual clothing, we might have t-shirts, and we could have hoodies. And again, by grouping them together, you'll be able to see independently, okay, for my t-shirts, I might have 5 different t-shirts. How much altogether are we making? And the same thing for our hoodies. Okay, so if we select our casual, our category casual, our subcategory t-shirts, now we're going to set up in there some t-shirts. Let's call our first t-shirt our UFC Ultimate Fighter T. Okay, we're gonna have our, now there's a couple of fields here. First one is key code. That by default gets set to the next available number. It's just a unique identifier to identify that item in the system. The next one's a product code. If there was a barcode on that product, we could enter it in here. And then if we were scanning items, which is optional, then that would be used to find the item. Our size here, let's set it up as a small t-shirt. We can put in our color black. Pack size, that's the minimum quantity to order for that. For something like t-shirts, that's generally always going to be 1. Now our supplier, let's say UFC for our supplier. Do you wish to add UFC as a new supplier? Yes, I do. And we can enter in all these details if we like. If we put an email address in here, we'll call it sales@ufc.com. If we put in an email address here, we can actually email these orders direct to our supplier. Okay, then reorder at and reorder to. Our reorder to level is the number we want to have in stock at any given time. So let's just say we want to have 5 small black t-shirts, UFC Fighter t-shirts in stock, and we wanted to reorder up to 5 anytime we got down to 3 t-shirts. So if we'd sold 2, then we want to reorder back up to our minimum stock level. Our cost per item, let's just say we're paying $15. If you're using the tax options, then it'll calculate that for you. And our sale price, let's say we want to use sell it for $29, and again it calculates the sell price for you that without the tax included. Okay, that's a t-shirt set up. If we want to create the next size, now it's nice and easy. We can select that t-shirt. We can put in our size medium, and again, black is saved in the list, and UFC fighter is saved in our supplier list, and we can set that up 3 and 5, and again we can put in the cost of $15 and $29. You can include pictures for your items. We're not going to insert a picture now. They insert exactly the same as the student pictures, which we'll be covering in another video. Okay, so once we've set up some stock items, we can now create an order. If we select stock and orders, we're going to create a new order for our UFC supplier. Now, as you can see, I continued to set up a few more items. Now, if we look over here in our select categories, if we select hats, t-shirts, we've got black tees and white tees there, and then we've got sparring, other, we've got a grappling dummy set up. Okay, so that gives us a number of items that we can select. Now, in our order, if we click generate, then any items that we set up our minimum order quantities for, and if we have a look here at our black t-shirts, we set up an order to level of 5. So if we click generate, for those 2 t-shirts there, we have 5 generated. Okay, now if we can go through, we can continue to add things to the order. So here for this one, we'll put in 5 as well. For our white t-shirts, we'll put 5 and 5 and 5, and that's simply we've ordered 5 of each t-shirt. If we wanted to put in some hats, let's just say we want to put in some of our cage hats, then let's put in 10 of those, and we might put in 5 of these hats, and we can put in of our grappling dummy, we can put in 2 of those. Okay, so we've now created that order. From here, it's very simple. If we want to send that order off to our supplier, we can click on the email button, or if we want to print it out, we can click the print button, and you can see here we have our order formatted with the supplier's details here. If we had a name and so on, an address set up for those, we'd have them on the order as well as any delivery instructions or terms and so on. We have the items that have all been ordered here, with the units and the summary there for that order. If we want to email it, it's a simple matter of clicking email, and then we select the format we want to send it in. PDF is a very good format to use, so if we do that, our system will open up our email client, and there we have an order, we have an email ready to just send off to our supplier, and we could add in here, we could insert a signature and so on if we wanted in here, and format that email, and then we can just send that off to our supplier. And it's saying it's been cancelled. The last part of ordering is of course receiving the order. So once we've created the order, we approve it, and that locks all those quantities in. We can update it at any time. When we receive the order in, we click the receive button, and it's expecting the total to be the same. Let's just say our supply was all out of our UFC cage hats. We put a quantity of 0 in there. That updates that. We click on order details, we enter in the invoice number here for the order received, and if there was some freight costs associated with that, we can enter the freight costs in there as well, and then that gives us a total invoice amount for the order, which should obviously match the total on the invoice sent by our supplier. We complete that order. As soon as we complete that order, it updates our stock on hand and so on with the actual quantities that were received, as opposed to the quantities that were ordered.